These days, videos are probably one of the most popular content items. Today, we'll talk about the best way to add video to your radio station website.
This is Better Radio Websites, the podcast for radio professionals who want to see their website generate more traffic and revenue. Each week, your host, Jim Sherwood, and his special guests give you time-tested tips and secret tricks to ensure your radio station dominates digital in your market. Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Today, we're talking about videos, and there could be all kinds of different reasons why you'd want to display videos on your website. May it be a client video, something that you maybe done at the radio station. I mean, it could be anything at all. But what's the best way to display these videos on your radio station website? Today, we'll talk about how to do it, whether you're on WordPress or not, and we'll also talk about embedding videos from third-party video services like YouTube, Vimeo, there are tons and tons of others, versus uploading and displaying videos that you've made that you upload to your website hosting platform. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, there are lots of downsides to hosting your own videos like that on your website hosting plan. At first, you may be tempted to do this because you can just upload anything to your website host and do it from there. Now, while this can be done on many hosting providers, you will quickly find that it's not easy and it could get you in trouble. Either way, things are not going to turn out to be as easy as you expect them to be. Uploading large video files to your website can not only take forever, but they could also be denied by your hosting provider due to these large sizes, because sometimes processing the video and playing the video and even uploading the video can produce timeout limits. That means that the action of doing this takes longer than the server allows for those actions to happen. Services like YouTube, they have hundreds of fast and efficient servers built specifically for uploading and hosting video. That's all they do. Did you know that according to 2018 stats, over 300 hours of YouTube videos are uploaded every minute? That's a lot of processing. So these big companies that all they do is videos, they are especially tuned to do this and do lots of this. Streaming video files that have been uploaded directly to your website are at the mercy of your web host server resources and bandwidth. Your hosting provider for your website does not have hundreds and thousands of servers hosting your website. They have just one, and that one server has limitations. It has so much RAM, it has so much disk space, it has so much bandwidth, and you have to work within those confines. If you have multiple people watching your video at one time, that process can slow down or even crash a website due to exhausting those server resources. Streaming services have the capacity and the bandwidth to allow unlimited video watching, or it would seem, because there are thousands of servers all over the world that are able to process these videos. About 5 billion videos are watched every single day on YouTube. That's just amazing to think of. Also, if you're thinking about uploading your videos to your hosting provider, one video format, codec, size, and resolution will not fit all applications and devices. Let's say you're working with an MP4 video format, okay? And you upload this video to your hosting plan. It may kind of stop and stutter with some devices, and it may not even work at all for others. Streaming services recode your uploaded video to several different formats at several different resolutions. So you upload one video to YouTube. Actually, on YouTube, on that server, there's like 5 or 6 or 7 different versions of that video that are fed to specific devices and internet speeds. YouTube takes all of those into consideration and serves the right video for the right device and the right speed. But let's say you could convert your video to these several different formats and then serve the right one based on the device. That is actually possible. You can programmatically do that. Just think about this. Videos take up a lot of disk space. And if your server host is making backups of your website periodically or daily like they should, This is going to take up a lot of resources to back up your website each time. It's going to take a lot of space to store those backups. And if you're paying for that extra disk space, then over time, you're going to be paying a lot more for your hosting plan because you're going to be either exhausting those limits or they're going to have to be giving you more resources in order to store all of those videos and then the backups of those videos. All right. Video hosting services exist and thrive because they solve all of these problems: the large files, the processing, the formats per devices, all of the space that those videos take up. They solve all of those. And they give you access to additional features such as analytics detailing on how long your visitors were watching your videos and how many visitors that you had. Now, YouTube here deserves some special recognition because not only are they the largest video hosting service in the world, they're the second largest online search engine in the world. Folks that are not finding things on Google and other search engines, they actually go to YouTube and do a search there for how to this or news item that or whatever. So being found in that search engine as well as being found on Google and the other search engines, that could benefit your radio station very, very hugely. And the best thing about YouTube, it's free. You don't have to pay anything to upload your videos there and to to have hundreds of millions of people watching these videos every single day. Now, there are some downsides to using providers like YouTube, but most people are kind of okay with them because it's just everybody's just used to it. Like ads. Yeah, YouTube generates revenue by advertising, whether that be a pre-roll video or maybe a banner ad at the bottom of the videos. Most of the time, these don't show, though, unless you have some specific settings enabled, like you want to receive the revenue share. The Vimeo service has a paid premium account that gets rid of all of the ads and allows protected streaming if they bother you too much. Another downside to using these services are the related videos. Yeah, you've seen them at the very end of the video. As soon as the video ends, they pop up some related videos, and some of these can be questionable at times. An algorithm actually chooses these videos based on the context and the relevancy. So if your video was about used cars or something like that, it would show other videos about used cars or whatever. Now, there are some settings in YouTube that I noticed recently where you can switch over related videos to only be videos that you own, that are within your channel, other videos within your channel. So that actually helps out a lot. Keep in mind that regardless of the downsides, and there are very few of them, both of these services have free and paid options out there. And we mentioned YouTube and Vimeo. There's other streaming services out there that you could take advantage of also. But really, either way, there's no reason why you would want to host a video on your website hosting plan. The fact that it slows everything down and could eventually cost you more money every month, it just really doesn't make sense whatsoever. So how do you embed one of these third-party videos on your website? Well, within WordPress, if you have a WordPress website, adding a video has become just as simple as pasting the video's URL into a page or post. That's right. You simply copy the whole URL from YouTube or Vimeo, and there's all kinds of other different video services that they allow this from. But you simply copy the video URL and then paste it into the article. And whenever you do that and you hit enter, the video just pops up in there in its own player. It's really that simple. And like I said, WordPress supports this functionality with many popular providers like YouTube, Vimeo, Twitter. There's a whole big list of them in the WordPress embed codex, and we'll leave a link to that in the show notes. And while this is the easiest way to embed a video, there's some things that could be desired because you miss out on some options about resizing the video, how it's positioned on the page. The mobile responsiveness can leave a little bit to be desired as well, depending on your template. For a little more control of how your video looks and where it is on the page and the responsiveness of it, you want to use a shortcode or an editor block that allows these extra settings, like whether if it's a light or dark video player, hiding those related videos. And there's several more options as well. If you don't use WordPress, then you can always choose the embed options found inside of any of these third-party services. YouTube has it, Vimeo, all of them have the embed codes, and typically these are iframe codes. Now, you want to be careful with this because iframes have the explicit width and height values in the parameters there. It's actually in the code that you copy. It says height equals this, width equals that. You want to be careful of this because these iframes are not mobile responsive. In order to make them responsive, you have to add a little bit more code work, wrapping them in a responsive div element. And that may not be easy for folks that are not really familiar with HTML and CSS. So that's how you get your videos on your website. Embedding is the simplest, most easiest way to do that. Now, we've been talking about YouTube and Vimeo and these other third-party services. There are some custom options out there as well that offer video hosting, video conversion for all devices, a content distribution network to serve these files fast from everywhere, things like Amazon CloudFront, other CDNs. And they also offer custom video players that allow pre-rolls and really whatever else you can think of. This is a very cool way to not be on a service like YouTube because some people think that looks cheap, and it is, or Vimeo or something like that. It's a custom solution. However, expect to pay heavily for these services. They will be more than the paid plans on Vimeo or YouTube or any one of these other services. But you might get that customization that you're looking for that doesn't look like you went the cheap route. But for most radio stations, cost is a factor. And that's why we suggest going the YouTube or Vimeo route. So wrapping up, we've talked about the downsides of uploading video directly to your website server and how those videos can take up lots of space, exhaust server resources when more than one or two people are watching your video. Yes, it could even crash your website. And this is really what makes the third-party video services a clear winner on how to display video for your website visitors. I should also mention that we've been talking about video this whole time, that all of these downsides and why you should be going with a third-party alternative applies to audio as well. Yes, we've had people actually call us up and say, hey, why is my website so slow? Well, let's look and see. Well, it looks like here that you put a football game, 2-hour football game audio on your website, and you have like 4 or 5 people listening to this audio. Those servers were getting bogged down by these 4 or 5 people listening to ball game audio, and so their whole entire website was going a whole lot slower. So everything that we've talked about video and the downsides of hosting things on your own website server, these apply to audio as well. That's why we suggest services like SoundCloud or podcasting providers. You just want to keep in mind that you want to offer this great content on your radio station website, but you want to do it in a way that doesn't slow your website down and keeps visitors coming back time after time. If they come and they get a slow experience from your website, they're not going to come back as often, all right? So the best way to do it is to YouTube, Vimeo, one of these custom services, depending on your budget, but do it in a way that your website stays very, very fast. Do you need more direction on adding videos to your radio station website? We'd love to help you out with that. Reach out to us at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Inspired by today's episode? Be sure you are subscribed and share this episode with a friend. Visit skyrocketradio.com/podcasts for more episodes as well as show notes for this episode. Need help starting or making your station website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.